Have you ever wondered why, throughout the Bible, do we see God responding so powerfully, not just to prayer, but to fasting? It's not because God needs your hunger or about impressing him with sacrifice. It's deeper than that. Fasting is a soul-level surrender. It's when your body says no, so your spirit can say yes. It's when you choose emptiness, so God can fill you. Ever stop to think about why Jesus fasted for 40 days? Or why Moses, Elijah, Esther, and even the early church practiced fasting so seriously? You're about to discover how this ancient spiritual discipline holds the power to break chains, revive your faith, and bring you into a deeper walk with God. But here's the thing, most Christians today have forgotten it. And that might just be why your prayers feel powerless. But this was not always the case. Fasting isn't just about skipping meals, it's a spiritual weapon. In Exodus 34, Moses fasts for 40 days and speaks face-to-face with God. In Matthew 4, Jesus fasts and conquers the devil's temptations. And in Acts 13, the early church fasts, and the Holy Spirit speaks. See the pattern? Fasting unlocks heavenly power. But here's the shocking truth. Fasting wasn't just for the Bible heroes, it was meant for you. When you fast, you silence the flesh and awaken the spirit. It's like clearing static off a radio. Suddenly, God's voice becomes clearer. Your heart becomes softer. Your mind becomes focused. And temptations that used to control you, they begin to lose their grip. But fasting doesn't just change you, it changes situations. Esther fasted and saved an entire nation. Daniel fasted and received visions of the future. Are you feeling led to take a step into fasting yourself? So why don't we fast anymore? Comfort, convenience culture. We've been taught to satisfy every desire instantly, but the early church knew something we've lost. They knew the power of self-denial. And get this, Jesus didn't say if you fast, he said, when you fast. Matthew 6:16 isn't optional for followers of Christ. It's a key to revival. But here's the part no one talks about. Fasting isn't just spiritual, it's warfare. When you fast, you step onto the battlefield. The enemy knows it. Your flesh resists it. But heaven moves because of it. And that's exactly why most people quit after day one. But if you keep going, even when it's hard, God meets you in the hunger. When you fast, something sacred happens. You begin to hunger not just for food, but for his presence. Fasting strips away the noise, the distractions, the comfort. It creates space for connection. You start hearing God's voice not just in the word, but in the stillness of your soul. And in that quiet place, he begins to reveal things, wounds you didn't know you carried, sins you hadn't confessed, but also callings you've been ignoring, prayers he's been waiting to answer. It's there, in the hunger, that the miracles often begin, not always outward. Sometimes the real miracle is that your heart changes. Your love for him deepens. Your faith comes alive again. And yes, sometimes he heals. Sometimes he restores. Sometimes what seemed impossible shifts. But even if he doesn't, you walk away changed. Because in fasting, you don't just get closer to God, you become more like him. Jesus, before he began any miracle, teaching, or healing, fasted for 40 days. He was led by the Holy Spirit into the wilderness. Why? To be tested, strengthened, and prepared. During the fast, he connected with the Father intimately, and he overcame Satan's direct temptations. And after the fast, Jesus returned in the power of the Spirit to Galilee, Luke 4:14. Immediately, he healed the sick, cast out demons, raised the dead. The miraculous broke out because his spiritual authority had been affirmed through the fast. He didn't earn power, but he aligned himself perfectly with the Father's will. He emptied himself, Philippians 2:7, and the Spirit filled him. So what do these stories show us? Fasting doesn't twist God's arm. It positions your heart. Your heart is aligned with God's will. That's when heaven moves. Not always with lightning, sometimes with whispers, sometimes with timing you don't expect, but always with purpose. When you fast, something sacred happens. Not because you're doing something special, but because you're finally getting quiet enough to listen. In the busyness of life, we scroll, we rush, we fill every empty space with noise. But in fasting, you say to God, "You're more important than food, more important than comfort, more important than distraction." And that kind of surrender, God responds to it. You start to notice His whispers in the Word. You feel His nearness in silence. You sense Him softening your heart, reminding you of His love, His mercy, His presence. He's always been there, but now you're finally still enough to see Him. In fasting, you're not earning God's voice. You're removing the barriers that keep you from hearing it. And suddenly, you're no longer talking at God, you're walking with Him.